For my artist presentation, I chose to research the English artist Damien Hirst. Hirst is a controversial contemporary artist most known for his spot paintings, as well as installations where he suspends dead animals in formaldehyde. Some of his art is pretty graphic, so I wanted to include a content warning, just in case. Damien Hirst was born in Bristol in 1965, and was described as being a rebellious child by his mother. He stated that he was interested in death and the macabre from a young age, which is a theme that is present in much of his adult work. Art was one of his favorite subjects in school, and he enrolled in Goldsmiths College in London to study fine art and develop his work. While he was an art student, he worked in a mortuary, which also influenced the direction of his later work. One of Hirst's first exhibitions was Freeze, a show he created along with other students at Goldsmiths College in 1988. It took place in an abandoned port building in London and was held over 2 months. This is where some of Hirst's first spot paintings became well known, and Hirst and other students in the exhibition began to be recognized as up-and-coming artists. Their group became known as the Young British Artists and were influential to the art scene in the UK during the 90s. They were known for using shock tactics in their work, which is also present in much of Hirst's solo art. One of Hirst's most famous pieces, called 1,000 Years, was made 2 years after the Freeze exhibition. This piece features a severed cow's head being eaten by flies, with one half of the piece focusing on death and the other life. Other than containing the cow's head, the left half has a device suspended above which electrocutes the flies. Here's a clip of the piece. Hirst continued to make art using animals, and in 1991 made In and Out of Love. This exhibit shown at the Tate Modern contained live butterflies who were born and died in a windowless room. Hirst placed plants that were aimed to attract the butterflies under wet canvases so that the butterflies would stick and eventually die. He stated this was based off of flies landing on his paintings in the studio, and an estimated 9,000 butterflies were born and died in the 23 weeks the show lasted. For almost a decade, Hirst continued to make art using butterflies. In the Kaleidoscope series, it is estimated approximately 17,000 butterflies died for his work. One of the most famous pieces in this series was titled I Am Become Death, Shatterer of Worlds, which was a large 7 by 17-foot painting comprised of around 3,000 butterflies arranged in 2 mandala patterns and sold for around $2.8 million in 2010. Arguably, Hirst's most famous piece is The Physical Impossibility of Death in the Mind of Someone Living from 1991. This features a 14-foot tiger shark suspended in formaldehyde solution with Hirst's intent to shock the public. Hirst paid around $20,000 for the shark to be hunted and shipped to the exhibit by famous Australian shark hunter Vic Hislop, which was met with criticism. When confronted about the impact of his actions on the ecosystem, Hislop responded that, quote, "Sharks are God's mistake, and his mission is to correct that mistake by killing them." Hirst went on to use many other animals, including zebras, horses, and calves in the same manner as the shark. Hirst has had other controversies, including fabricating the dates on 3 of his formaldehyde sculptures and at least 1,000 of his spot paintings. The spot paintings were met with the most criticism, as Hirst was selling the digital versions for thousands of dollars as NFTs under the premise that they were handmade years earlier. In response, his legal team claimed that the date Hirst assigns to his art pieces are when he conceptualizes the ideas, not created them, making the years of all of his art pieces questionable. Hirst has also been accused of plagiarism for a large amount of his work. One example is of Debbie Davis's 1984 work Visible Pig, which is actually a fiberglass sculpture of half of a pig. Hirst's embalmed half of a pig came 12 years later. Another example is of Hirst's spot paintings, compared to Thomas Downing's spot paintings of the 1960s, as well as Hirst's Hymn from 1999 and John le Carré's Yin and Yang from 1990. Hirst's use of butterflies even came years after Laurie Precious created her mandalas made of butterfly wings, with both artists even providing similar themes about their pieces, including death and resurrection. Today, Damien Hirst is the wealthiest living artist in the United Kingdom. He continues to make new exhibits. However, less of his work now uses dead animals. His older work does still continue to make its way through different galleries around the world, where occasionally the animals are replaced with new ones. It is estimated that a total of 1 million animals have died for his work to date. Before researching Damien Hirst, I had only seen his shark sculptures, and I thought they were interesting, but I assumed they had just been found naturally and displayed to symbolize the theme of death. However, after learning about all of the ways he has made art by purposefully harming animals and making a spectacle of it, I think not only are his themes lost, but that he more so glorifies the death of the defenseless and profits in a way similar to trophy hunting. One possibly positive aspect of the research for this project is that I can now say I have a least favorite artist, Damien Hirst.